Shalom, shalom. Happy Monday night. Oh my God. When I tell you it is a cold, wet, rainy night in Joliet, Illinois. It's a rainy night in Joliet, Illinois. Um, I want y'all to also be aware I am representing my pink, my pink. I am a two-time breast cancer survivor. Cancer took away my teeth, my breast, just so much stuff from me. But I'm still here by the grace of God. He let a sinner such as me still allowed to be on this earth, surviving life. Could have been dead, could have been in prison, and could have been taken out by breast cancer. But I done survived it twice. So you better come with something better than what you coming with. No weapon formed against me will prosper. Okay. Okay. Ooh, it's getting so cold. Oh my God. I gotta find me a rich husband. Hit the lottery, and they say some lady won $100,000 on some computer app for the lottery. I gotta check that out. But woo, good God Almighty. So check this out. What's going on, y'all? Y'all see I got my little quilt on. Um, God is good. But now we're gonna move on into these evil demonic things that are roaming the earth. So anyway, there is a war going on with Judge Joe Brown, who I just love, and Judge Greg Matthis. Now, I want to start off by saying, hey, Justin T, I want to start off by saying, we have seen what Hollywood, everybody being revealed what's going on in Hollywood, the agenda that these people are pushing. And I want to make this clear. I don't care what anybody does in their bedroom, okay? I don't care what anybody does, but you leave our kids alone. That's why this world is in the situation it's in now. People are walking around with trauma. They have not been healed. Generational curses. Things don't get addressed, and we sweep them under the rug. Now, Judge Joe Brown is an 80-year-old man with a lot of experience. Okay. Judge Joe Brown is from the old school. Judge Joe Brown does not believe in the alphabet community. He believes a man should be a man. Okay? That's all. He ain't with all this new stuff. Now, as we can see, what's going on right now, right, is these people in Hollywood. Now we see what all the alleged stuff that's supposed to be going on in Hollywood. So you're supposed to allegedly, there's the Illuminati. Allegedly, people sell their souls. Allegedly, you know, uh, you have to bend over. Allegedly, uh, you know, you gotta dance to these people's music. Allegedly, they get some dirt on you. Allegedly, they drug and grape you. Females and males. And then they take videos. And allegedly, they hold this stuff over your head. And, allegedly, they say, come here, boy. Come here, gal. I got this on you. Okay? And I can release it. And everybody don't want their business out there. So they dance to their music. Now this is all alleged. To me, I don't think it's alleged. I think it's really going on. That these people have something over them. Some people sign contracts. Some people are willing to do anything for this Hollywood get down. Woo. Well, hey Northwest. So anyway, I'm gonna give a shout out to the real Dana, and we're gonna play this video. And Judge Matthis gonna give.
And that just shows the difference in character between his and mine. He's one of them. Right. So, just
Okay. How you doing, Northwest? How's everything been going with you? Just the tea, thank you. Hey girl, dad cooking up deliciousness. How have everybody been doing? It's cold. It's cold here in Joliet, Illinois. So anyway, let me play this video. Judge Joe Brown is going to, give his side of the story. I really don't want to hear anything that Judge Matthis has to say. I saw him on Tamron Hall's show, and I was like, oh, okay. I knew it was something in. I said, so now he's coming on national TV. I cheated on my wife. We got it back together. We got everything together. We're working it out. I cheated on her. He bought his son, and it's part of the alphabet community. And his son had his uh, companion or partner, however they say he had them. And this is the agenda that is being pushed now. This is the agenda that's being pushed. Again, I want to make this clear. I can't judge anybody. No sin is different, than one sin. I'm a sinner, they're a sinner. Okay. but I could still talk my stuff and give my opinion on it. And like I say, kids, kids, I got a big issue. I don't think any child should be subject to this type of behavior. Um, I don't think they should be able to change their body parts. They're children. What happened to let kids be kids? Yep. So, Judge Matthis.
Matthis, he said that the state of Tennessee um, took away your license because of health reasons, and he was alluding to a mental decline. Seems like he's the one suffering from a mental decline. About a decade ago, I had a severe problem with type 2 diabetes. I was feeling very unhealthy, and I had some severe health episodes as a consequence. But also, you have to take 16 collegiate union hours a year to get your law license, and I didn't feel like being bothered with that. So, what I wound up doing was I had my doctor draft up a letter, and I just claimed medical disability status, and I can renew it if I like, reinstate it. I just don't choose to because you'd be subject to a lot of complaints. Say that would have to be answered. So that's just typical of the ignorance that he displays. Which, if he had had lengthy experience as being a trial judge and a practicing lawyer, he would have known better. He can check his facts, and that seems to be endemic with what he does. So there you go. And he also said that, your show was canceled because of low ratings, because nobody turns down millions of dollars and just walk away from Hollywood. Well, I do. And that just shows the difference in character between his and mine. He's one of those bought off Hollywood types who ran the rainbow agenda for the longest time at their behest. I refused. And when I got tired of the game and them owing me a lot of money, I said I retire. I hired a lawyer to retrieve what was owed me, and about 10 years ago, he turned up missing, presumed dead. Nobody's seen him since. All of the retainers, several $100,000 worth, got returned to me by his former law firm. So it's an unfortunate situation. At the time I retired, I was running number 1 or 2. It was me, Judy, and then it was Wheel of Fortune, followed quite a few down by Oprah and then Dr. Phil. And by the way, Phil, Oprah, myself, and Judy were in the same CBS syndication unit. And he was not suffering from the ignorance that he so often manifests. He would have realized that at that point in time, social media was coming into its own. And broadcast television was suffering in overall ratings, but in terms of the individual shows, where you ranked was as they had remained, and it was either Judy or myself as 1 and 2, not just in judge shows, but in overall syndication. And Matthis, if I recall, was somewhere down in 140s and 150s with a niche market. So it is what it is. So no, I was at the top of the game, and I always knew from life that if you're gonna leave something, leave when you're at the top. And I just got sick of Hollywood and what it was doing, because it wasn't real world, and I've never been in a more corrupt, vile environment in my life than Hollywood. So here's the thing, though, because he was telling people on Art of Dialogue interview, go look it up, because if you look it up, it's going to say his license is inactive due to medical reasons. Okay, but he was alluding medical reasons, meaning he was mentally losing it, dementia or what have you, and that's reckless. What do you call that? Reckless endangerment of the truth. That's called reckless disregard for the truth. That typifies him. As I mentioned earlier, he was in a conference with several of the TV judges, all of whom had actually practiced for a considerable period of time and been judges for a while. He's made the ridiculous statement that everybody looked at him like he had lost his mind. He overruled the Constitution of the United States as unconstitutional. Like he can't do that. So that's the kind of stuff he says. It's ignorant. He's selling wolf tickets, and I guess he's trying to become relevant because he has no audience except within the Hollywood community, and he's not politically relevant except he's a typical plantation Negro on the demo party.
Ever wondered what happens when legs like these almost suddenly become like this? Cases like this.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Hold on, y'all.
Plantation Negro on the demo party. Queen.
Did y'all hear what he say? He said he's a plantation Negro on the Democratic Party.
Rainbow plantation, and that's more from King Cotton. So that's his problem.
Right. Well, honestly, this whole thing with the back and forth, hopefully, it just cease. You don't always have to respond to what somebody says. And, and I'm talking about just Matthis, and it can apply to you as well. But just for the record, he started it.
Yeah, he did. So, I mean, I'm not.
He didn't like what you said about Kamala.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that just takes it lying down. So, I think he's on the defensive right now because I pushed manhood. I exposed that fake Kamala Harris imhoff. I exposed that fake Biden. I've been saying what everybody found out for years. I've been exposing the game that they were running on the American public. I disclosed my opinions way back years ago about what was happening with the open southern border and what that was doing to American security interests. All these kind of things. So what has he done? He's put on At Home with Him, where he pushes that rainbow stuff, which is his right under the First Amendment. And he wants to come around and start trying to get some credibility. This is something that's in the 48 Rules of Power. And if you read that book, one of their suggestions is to acquire a following, is to start an attack upon some individual or some cause that your followers don't support. So I support manhood, responsibility, courage, bravery, principle, dignity, honor, law, and order. And he's supporting rainbow and boys in girls' bathrooms and wearing sports bras and panties and competing against girls. I mean, that's his right, but that's what he supports, and I don't. So there you have it. That's the difference that is out there. He needs to man up, put some bass in his voice.
You gotta love the judge. You gotta love the judge. He's old school, and we see what's going on in the world. We see what's being pushed out there. That's why I say Judge Joe Brown is the winner. We see what they done in the music industry. We see what has come out with Diddy and all of the alleged, raping and men that have come out and said what he's done to them. All of them, they sorry. At least Greg Matthis did marry his wife. Uh, I look at people like Diddy and Tyler Perry. I call them some sorry sacks of ish. They didn't do nothing but make a bunch of baby mamas. Baby mamas. But we're going to let the judge continue. A shout out to the real Dana.
And stop trying to push what he pushes. I understand his family circumstances, but that's his problem, not mine. So, he wanted to start this. See, this is like you open your mouth, Don't expect me to be quiet, but I'm not going to say anything else because I made my point. And all that's going to happen is he's going to come up with one of those little things that they come up with. And
Well, he's talking as if he knows some of your personal business, or as if he knows some people, or knows someone in your family that's spilling the tea on you, and he knows.
He doesn't know a thing. In any event, the only person that knows what it was communicated is me, my doctor, and whomever, and it said medical disability due to diabetes.
Right. You didn't even have to disclose that. You didn't have to disclose that.
I mean, I don't mind it being known. It's just like I'm in much better health right now because I have good doctors and they take care of me and I follow my medication schedule and I'm not off into this. Everything's going to be solved by just eating fruits and vegetables because I know some people like that. Interestingly enough, all of them were younger than me, and all of them are dead now because they didn't want to take the medication. They wanted the fruits and veggies, and it didn't work. Oh, I'll just say, do what you want to do. It's America. It's your thing. But I don't mind anybody knowing that. It's just pay attention to what you're doing in life.
One last thing on this, on the health thing that he's trying to harp on and trying to paint you as having dementia because you're 77 or 78. He's keep bringing up your age. And let me just say this for the record, because yes, me and you know, we always have our bouts and go back and forth, but I never try to sit up here and act like I know more than you, especially when it comes to law. Now, some history things, we do have discussions, but your mind is still very much sharp when it comes to the law and, you know, the history of the law and the Constitution, to where I would definitely question Judge Matthis, because if I was to ask him to tell me all of the amendments, 1 through, what is it, 25 amendments? Tell me the amendments. Tell me what is Amendment 16. He won't be able to tell you Amendment 16 what it is. Amendment.
My
point is that you're right. He is selling wolf tickets, because if you have to use somebody's age, he's 65, he's up there too. But if you have to use somebody's age to discredit them, that's a very weak argument.
Well, the point is, if you ask the people who have watched him and watched me, and in my case, there are millions of people that watched me.
My cats are right here. Hey, Milena.
Far more will assign credibility in the past to what I say than what he says, and many more right now who would listen to me than they would listen to him.
And I would listen to Judge Joe Brown before I listen to Judge Greg Matthis.
You know, the First Amendment territory we're treading on right here. The United States has a status of being a republic, and the citizens of the republic know what they listen to and what they depend on, and it ain't Judge Matthis.
Whew. So anyway, you know, it's crazy. They are two dynamic men. And this is what they do. This is what they do. You know, they get one person is pushing for one thing, another one is pushing for one. Allegedly, and again, I'm going to say allegedly, they say that, you know, people get paid lots of money to push certain agendas whenever they want to start brainwashing us or get something going. You know, I think they might be pushing Judge Greg Matthis. Who knows? They might be trying to promote him to be a vice president or get into politics. You never know. You never know. So much crazy stuff going on. So much. Ooh, it's so much. But anyway, now this really got me. Let me tell you, y'all can talk about us old folks, don't want to respect us. We done seen history get repeated. We done seen this. I look at everything what's going on right now in this world, and it is so dark right now. When I tell you it is so dark, you got the churches, the pastors fighting with each other. Allegedly, you got bishops and preachers talking about rituals that been performed. It's just a dark, deep world out there. But now, again, we're going to credit the real Dana. And now this one really got me because they're using Greg Matthis. They're pushing an agenda, and he didn't have to come the way he did. But you know, the love of money, having unlimited, and this is alleged, you know. Like I say, they say a lot of money is pushed into what a lot of money is put into whatever agenda they want to promote. And I believe that is true. When they decided to push kids being able to change their identity, what did we see? We saw Dwayne Wade let his son transition before our eyes. Okay. You know, why are we the representatives for this type of behavior? I just, and again, this is my opinion. I just feel as though this should not be pushed on kids. I feel as though kids should be able to make their own decisions. But
If you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming
let me tell you,
declining in the polls.
when
Trump responded.
Judge Matthis,
All right. So
hold on,
Judge
y'all.
Matthis had some things to say about you, because you was on an Art of Dialogue a couple weeks ago. Keeping the lights on over there. You went viral, and Art of Dialogue asked you about Judge Matthis, because prior to that, Judge Matthis came on the show and he mentioned your name. So you and Judge Matthis are having kind of like a back and forth. And it all stemmed from when you called Kamala Harris a piece of shit last year when she was running for office. And this year, Judge Matthis said, he was defending Kamala Harris, and you could go into details with that in a second. So, and then you responded, Judge Matthis responded, and then you just shut it down the last time you was on Art of Dialogue. And now you got Judge Matthis on the ropes because he's responding to you for disrespecting his wife and son. So now he's trying to make it very personal. This is going viral. People have been blowing up your phone, basically with the bullshit.
Well, you know what? It's like this. Let's go back to junior high school. You're sitting on the playground. It's lunchtime. You're bored, and some people are running the dozens talking about mamas, and the whole idea is to be witty and humorous about it, and people are laughing. Somebody comes in walking by and decides he wants to get in on it. He wants to crack on somebody. And what happens is somebody comes up with something a lot more witty and profound and really makes him sound bad, and he gets mad about it. Well, see, for the last several years, I've been campaigning against the poison represented by the Biden-Harris administration. I said some things about Kamala Harris Hall that I thought were accurate and sustained by her continuous lifetime conduct. The typical Democrat who belongs on their plantation, and he was very defensive of her. And way after the campaign was over and Mr. Trump had been elected to president this year, as a matter of fact, he opened his mouth and started talking about Judge Brown called Kamala Harris a hoe. And if he called my wife a hoe, I'd do such and such and such to him. I had never mentioned his wife, never mentioned him. He brought his family into the mix. And they asked me a question on Art of Dialogue about it. And I said, I don't really want to talk about it, but since you bring it up, you know, I don't know his wife. I hope she's not a hoe, but if she is one, then whatever gets said about her, you know, that's his problem. And I said, I think the fundamental misfit here is that he is a loyal Democrat. He wants to defend that plantation that the Democrats still run, this time for Queen Rainbow rather than King Cotton.
Oh!
Well, how did
and his family came into this, and I said, I think I understand where he's coming from. I took a moment to watch that thing. What is it, Matthis at home? And I said, Hollywood tried to get me to do that for years, and I refused. I wasn't going to push that rainbow agenda. That's their business. This is America. Do what you want to do. Get your freak on in your bedroom. That's your business, not mine. I don't like technology that's being pushed in what it's doing in the big social picture, the big political picture. And we talked about that many times on this production we do here. So I just said, okay, that's his business. If he wants to get it on, or his children are practitioners, that's his problem, not mine. More power to him. So I just said, I think what's going on is he's pushing Rainbow and he's pushing Democrat. The two of them are pretty synonymous these days, and he doesn't like me. So that's essentially all I said. Remark about some of it. For instance, we're talking about the U.S. Supreme Court. Several members of the current U.S. Supreme Court are from the Second Judicial District, Circuit rather. And I remember myself, Judge Napolitano, and Judge Matthis got an invitation about 20-some years ago to attend a judicial conference that the Second Circuit was having. There were Second Circuit appellate judges in the audience, some members of the U.S. Supreme Court in the audience, some people that wound up on the U.S. Supreme Court over the last 20-some years in the audience. And I was there, Napolitano was there, and Matthis said an announcement that he had something more important to do, which was rehearse for a gospel concert. Well, the topic was television in the courtroom, which the appellate courts of the United States were considering, and also the negative impact of Judge Judy on the judicial process. He declined to go. So he considered entertainment more important than the business process of being a judge. Now, as to what he just did this week on the Art of Dialogue, I'd make the following comments. For a judge, it's very, very bad to get yourself in a position where somebody could accuse you of doing what others are pointing out happened with Charlie Kirk, which is somebody setting the stage for somebody taking some violent action against the person.
So, what, whoever and whatever is behind Judge Matthis and this beef and, you know, these Democrat plantation lovers that just can't leave, those that defended Kamala Harris. I mean, she done basically came out in the book and said she knew she wasn't going to win. It was 107 days. I mean, a whole bunch of BS. But anyway, Judge Mathis was talking about he had some folks from Detroit that was ready to do something to them. Now, first of all, y'all know we don't talk about it, we be about it, we just do it. Right? You look up, Pop goes to Weasel, you look up, they out of here. People don't talk about what they gonna do. I thought that was such a old janky move for Greg Mathis talk about all got the folks from Detroit. What? Y'all judges, y'all street and I'm Judge Joe Brown. But so this is what he's talking about.
Who is the target? Now, this implication that he's got friends in Memphis or followers in Memphis who would do me some harm. Well, I've been here for the last 50 years, and I get pretty good reception from the people of Memphis, white, black, brown, red, yellow, wherever I go. So he may have somebody here, but it's kind of a stupid street move to be implying that you're going to, or you have talked to, or there are things that people want to do that are harmful to somebody else. That's kind of stupid. You don't even bring that up. That's not a wise street move.
Yeah.
And being an old man, I challenge my intellect against his any day of the weekend. His would come a warning. And when it comes to a TV show, I was number one or number two for years. He was way down 150 something, and he just kept going because he pushed that rainbow stuff. So, we say with enthusiasm, and I did.
So let's get back to the streets thing because, I don't know why he felt the need to bring up that some men from Detroit and Memphis, Atlanta called him up saying, you want us to handle it. And he had to back them down. You've been to Atlanta, you've been to Detroit, and you live in Memphis. So if anybody had a problem with all the other things, because you have said a lot of stuff about a lot of people, no one never approached you, but he was basically trying to punk you.
Well, the point is, I don't need him to back anybody down from Memphis. I'll do that myself.
Go Judge Joe Brown. And again, I'm going to say, Judge Mathis, you need to Go sit down. But then again, I understand, you know, you might be in a point in your life. I understand that your son is part of the alphabet, but if you love your child, you know, you're gonna support your child. Most parents do. We understand that you support your child's lifestyle. That's fine. We get it. I get it. You know, most parents that love their kid, they're gonna, they're gonna stand by their kids, which I think is great because, you know, it was a lot. That's a lot to deal with. And, but you, we see through the BS. I see through it. Most people see. We see what's going on in the world now. At least I hope y'all see. There are people that are pushing an agenda. They have their gatekeepers that will do it for them. Allegedly, they pay a lot of money. Whatever agenda the United States of America decides to push, they're going to push it. Like he said, you know, these people, they know what they're doing. They've been doing it for years. Like I say, people have awakened to the Democrats. And like I say, you know, they lost that election on their own. Y'all need to get yourself together and figure out what y'all gonna do if y'all gonna try to find y'all a good candidate to run for the president of these United States of America. And, you know, we might see a whole lot of more feuds come up. We might see them go after a whole lot of different people right now. We're going to see who the Democrats are going to have. You know, who they going to have that is pushing their agenda, which is the alphabet, the rainbow community, being able to butcher your kids up. There's no boy, there's no girl. None of that. That's the agenda. Boy, it makes me think the world is ran by aliens. Hey, if you out there, hey. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just reporting content. Hey, I ain't got nothing else to do but come on here and bring y'all this stuff, all this news. You know, I stand with Judge Joe Brown. I'm old school. Uh, you know, again, I have nothing against the alphabet people. Hey, cuz, like I said, what people do in their bedroom is no concern of mine unless you mess with children. If you messing with kids, kids need to be protected. I will stand by that. I just don't believe a child should be able to change their body or and and take all of this. And if you can go through the history of my shows, I did do shows where the American Medical Association did say that it wasn't right for these kids, you know, to take hormones and all of this stuff that they did. So I think the Democrats are pushing an agenda now to see, you know, what's the field like and who they can start promoting for the next presidential election. Um, and like I say, it's so many dark and evil spirits running this world right now. You know, uh, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So y'all better get ready, buckle up. All of y'all that say y'all Christians or whatever faith you believe in, you better start believing in them, because we don't know where we headed now. And all I know is I'ma give it to God. I do know this. I am not going to starve. I am not going, you know, I'm going to give everything to the higher power. We cannot control these people. You know, it, it's it's a lot going on right now. You got illegal immigrants over here. You got people fighting more for illegal criminals than they do the United States citizens. They want illegal criminals to be here, but you want the United States citizens to be in prisons for 20 and 30 years. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot. So what I've done now is I've given it to God. You know, when you can't control things, you can't control things. You can't control people. Um, you know, and all of these no king protests that's going on. You know, it's just a lot out there. Um, I'm gonna tell you this: do not get caught up in this stuff. That's what they want to do. They want to keep people divided and fighting. You got people that will really go low. You got people not speaking to each other because people don't want to respect nobody's opinion or they want to force yours. They hate Trump. I don't like no presidents. I don't like none of them. I don't like no politician. All of them crooks to me. They all the same bird. They flapping their wings. They flapping their wings. I just, I just seen all of this stuff go around, but looks like it be might be worse than what it was when the steel mills closed down and my parents lost their homes and everything. My parents, they both worked in the steel mills. They lost their jobs. So I know what it's like. I've been through that. I've been through that. And so, like I tell people, baby, buckle up, cause the best is yet to come. But we're survivors. We all gonna make it. You know, the higher power is in control. Do not let yourself get worked up with idiots and people that can't respect you or your opinion or stoop low because of your opinions. This is April Shower. Oh my God. This is April Showers. And I thank y'all so much for joining me on this fine Monday night. Well, actually, it's 12:01 now, so it's Tuesday morning. It's cold. Hey, cuz. My cousin from Seattle's in here. And Tina, tell my auntie I said, hey, and it's cold here. It's cold in Joliet. It's 40 something degrees. Do y'all know that they have been experiencing a lot of outages too, where you have not been able to order stuff? Let me tell you, something going on. I'm gonna tell you, it's something out there. Something is coming. You better get stocked up on some sardines, canned goods, potted meat, bottled water. Um, hey, be prepared. They also say COVID-19, okay, is back on the rise. So I would advise people to start wearing their mask and stuff again. There's a rise. There is a dark force roaming this earth right now, and we can see it. You know, it's really dark right now. If you say that you want a solution, uh, it should be unity. It should be let's work together. Cause again, Trump, and don't get this twisted. Like I said, all of the presidents that been in there, I ain't like none of them. They all done something good, and they've all done something bad. But Trump is the president elect, and you know it's gonna have to be a come together right now over me. Doom 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 doom. That was a song by the Beatles. There's gonna have to be some coming together. There's gonna have to be some talking. You know, uh, people gonna have to talk. They gonna have to talk instead of blaming each other. These folks know what they done. You know, Nancy Pelosi knows she could have called the National Guardian that day. Dustin come out. Y'all look at some of these uh, hearings that they've been having lately. It's a whole lot of stuff being revealed. Again, when they push an agenda, when they decide somebody is getting ready to go down, be the fall person, uh, you don't dance to my music. Cause they say that's what goes on. Then we gonna bring you down, baby. Yeah. Well, can't nobody bring me down. Can't nobody hold me down. You know, I don't live in my past, you know, and this ain't what you want. This is April showers. Y'all all, y'all have a great Tuesday, because I'm going to turn my heat on. Peace, everybody. Again, I want to make this clear. You know, I love people of all races, color, creed, political, or religious backgrounds. You know, I'm more I'm pro black, but I'm not anti anything. This is April Showers. Peace.